Did you know that you can take full control of your GoPro Hero 8 settings by just unlocking a feature called Protune? Protune gives us freedom basically, meaning that with Protune you can take full control of GoPro's custom settings like shutter speed, ISO, white balance, color settings, audio, and so on. Don't worry though, soon I'm going to go over each one of them, explaining what they are for and what are my favorite Protune settings for achieving the best quality footage of your activity. But now, without further ado, let's get started. Hey, I'm Andy, filmmaker and author of Project GoPro, a GoPro video making school. On the site, which you'll find here in the description below, you can find over 150 free tutorials that will help you get started with your GoPro. I've also left a link to download my free GoPro settings cheat sheet, which I've got in here. It's basically a 2-page PDF with all most used GoPro settings by GoPro users. So yeah, check it out. You find the description below. You can print it out like I've done, or you can save it on your phone for easy access anytime you need to set up your GoPro for most filming activities. But now let's get started. To access Protune, click on the settings section in the home screen, then on the plus and scroll down until you find the Protune section. Now, on previous GoPro models, this feature is turned off, and all GoPro settings within it are set to auto or automatic, or to a certain default value. On GoPro Hero 8, Protune settings are normally visible and active. However, their settings within are still set to auto and default values. So let's now go into more details and see how to tweak each Protune setting to maximize our GoPro's video quality. Let's start with the first Protune setting on our GoPro Hero 8, which is Bitrate. So starting from the Hero 8, GoPro introduced a different system to handle bitrate. Unlike previous models where the bitrate setting was not present and it used to increase as you activated Protune, now you can control it within the Protune settings, which is great. There are two options. Number one, standard. Number two, high. The reason why I would want to choose one or the other is strictly related to the file size and video quality. Generally, a higher bitrate will produce a more detailed image because it contains more information in it, resulting in a higher quality video. The maximum bitrate available on the Hero 8 is 100 megabit per second, which is quite a lot. But that's only available with 4K and 2.7K resolutions. Then, depending on the resolution and the frame rate you choose, you would have a different frame rate, ranging from as low as 45 megabits per second up to 100. Then we move on to color. By default, your camera is set to GoPro Color, which is a vibrant color filter that is typical to GoPro, and by default, yeah, you get this filter already applied. And I actually love the way it looks. It's quite cool. It gives that feeling of as if it was shot with a GoPro, you know. It's quite vibrant, it has high contrast, it's quite cool, and this setting is good when you don't want to color grade and you want to use the actual footage as it is. However, if you plan to edit your GoPro footage with some other videos shot from another camera, it might be difficult to match color profiles of each one of them. And also, applying some color grading in post-production with video editing apps like Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro might be more difficult with GoPro Color enabled if you set GoPro Color. But thankfully, GoPro Protune allows us to disable this auto mode feature and shoot in a natural or flat color profile. This will reduce the contrast of your footage, retaining its details within highlights and shadows. So if you're planning on color grading your video in post-production, or you want to add cinematic color LUTs presets like these ones, check them out by the way, the link is in the description. So if you also want to add these presets or color grade your footage, make sure to record in flat color mode. The results will be way better. But now let's move on to GoPro setting number 3, which is white balance. White balance, measured in Kelvin, is the temperature of your GoPro image, and it's set to auto or automatic by default. So unless you are shooting with multiple cameras and so you need to color match the temperature before filming, I would leave your white balance setting on default. Just leave to default. I think it's the best choice on GoPro in this case. Of course, there are some challenging lighting conditions, like indoor lights, snowy scenes, or where your GoPro might struggle to correct white balance automatically. So in that case, it's best to manually set the temperature on your GoPro. But in every other case, when you're like run and gun, keep it on automatic. But if you still want to set white balance on your GoPro manually, use a white surface as a color reference and select a temperature that best matches that white surface. You can see how the temperature changes as I manually change the white balance on this GoPro. Alright, let's move on to GoPro setting number 4, which is shutter speed, manual exposure. Shutter speed is one of the most important settings when it comes to light. In auto mode, GoPro constantly changes shutter speed to balance the change of light. In certain situations though, where light levels constantly change, auto mode can work to your advantage actually. In Protune, shutter speed is manually selected depending on your surrounding ambient lighting. But if that light level changes too drastically during your shot, you risk producing footage that is out of exposure, too bright or too dark. Ideally, the shutter speed should be fixed at double the frame rate. By doubling the frame rate to get the correct shutter speed, every video frame will produce a motion effect, which is that film look we often see in movies. Let me give you an example. If you choose a frame rate of 30 FPS on your GoPro, set a shutter speed of 1/60th. If you choose 120 FPS, then shutter speed should be 1/240 seconds, and so on. However, be careful, because this forces you to use an ND filters to control the light coming into your GoPro camera sensor, as now you have fixed shutter speed values. So since you cannot change them anymore within the camera because you want to have them fixed, you still have to control the light coming into the sensor, right? So how do you do that? With ND filters. Alright, let's move on to GoPro setting number 5, ISO limit. GoPro ISO limit incorporates a minimum and maximum value. This is the ISO range that GoPro will use depending on the lighting conditions. It's advisable to keep ISO min to 100 and ISO max not more than 400 to avoid image noise. After activating GoPro Protune, you can simply set it in this way. Remember that the range of ISO from 100 to 400 works pretty much in most well-lit situations, I would say. And so even if I don't recommend it so much because it will produce noise in your videos, you might need to increase ISO max to 800 or more if the environment is too dark, in order to then balance light and try to make it brighter on your GoPro. But remember that will likely create noise. You can try to also eliminate noise in post-production with softwares like Final Cut Pro, for example, or Adobe After Effects, but it's better to shoot without noise already. Then of course, if you got something that you want to try and fix, you can still do it, but try to keep ISO values to the minimum. Alright, setting number 6, that is sharpness. By default, the sharpness of GoPro is set to high, but I believe this level of digital sharpness produces artificial looking footage. This image is a comparison of each sharpness setting for footage shot in 4K resolution. What do you think? Can you see the variation of detail with each level of sharpness? look closely at the air conditioner, for example, or look at the patterns on each wallpaper design. If you plan on editing your footage in post-production and you want maximum control over sharpness, I suggest you switch into medium or low. I think high sharpness looks too crispy and it often produces additional and unwanted noise in your footage, so try to keep it low as well. Okay, let's move on to GoPro setting number 7, which is raw audio. Raw audio track is a Protune feature that creates a higher quality standalone audio, the WAV file, in addition to your original footage file. Now, should you enable raw audio track? Of course, if you're serious about audio design in your GoPro footage, then go for it. This is how to set it. Once enabled, you should select low, medium or high quality audio according to the level of editing you intend to apply. However, despite GoPro's built-in stereo microphone capabilities, it does have limits. It picks up ambient noises and it's more difficult isolating a single subject. So if you really want to have the cleanest and clearest audio, you might want to use an external microphone for GoPro. I think that's the best way. Now let's move on to the next setting, which is wind. I believe this doesn't need much of an explanation, as it simply reduces wind if activated. I found it to work pretty well on light wind and not so well on strong wind. While riding a motorcycle, for example, that there is a lot of wind hitting your GoPro and the microphone, that doesn't really work so well. In those cases though, I'd suggest to use an external microphone with a dead cat on it. Now let's move on to the last Protune setting, which is mics. This Protune settings on the Hero 8 is not available without a media mod. However, you should be able to select audio mode between stereo and mono once you attach a media mod and a microphone to your GoPro. And that was the last Protune setting of GoPro Hero 8. Let me know what Protune settings you normally use. Just let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe, as it will help YouTube algorithm show it to other GoPro enthusiasts like you. Remember to download the free GoPro settings cheat sheet before you go. It's a 2-page downloadable PDF that you can download it for free. The links are in the description, and stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!